The prison years, a season that changed me more than I could have ever imagined. Today I'm going to share what it was really like to live behind bars, how the isolation, the routine, and the constant tension forced me to face myself. We're going to talk about the moments that broke me, the lessons that shaped me, and the small sparks of hope that I discovered, even in the darkest corners of prison life. These weren't just years that I served behind bars. They were the years that stripped me down to the core of who I am and forced me to decide whether I was going to keep surviving or start to truly live. This episode of The Recovery Couch is brought to you by JB Davis at Performance Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. For integrity, service, and unbeatable deals, ask for JB in Centerville and tell them The Recovery Couch sent you. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to The Recovery Couch. You're listening to Inside the Fire, Behind Step 4, a 12-part mini-series taking you behind the raw and unfiltered journey of my new book, Step 4, A Journey Through Addiction, which releases this fall. So when I first stepped into prison, I thought I knew what to expect. I thought it would be about serving time and counting days until freedom, like you see in movies where they kind of mark up the wall in their prison cell to kind of keep track of their days until they get free. But I had no idea that prison years would become more than a sentence. I remember the first nights kind of being the hardest. I couldn't sleep. There was constantly sound of metal doors slamming. Lights were always on, even at night, voices echoing, and the cold reality that this is your life now. It hits you like a weight and you can't shake that shit off. I spent the first few months wrestling with shame and anger. Some days I felt like I didn't belong there, like everyone else was a criminal and not me. Other days I was certain that I belonged there. You see, prison is a mirror you can't escape. There's no hiding from your thoughts. There's no hiding from your regrets. And there's no hiding from the parts of yourself that you'd rather avoid. And as hard as that was to face, it was in that stillness and those long stretches of silence that I finally started to confront the truth of who I was and who I wanted to become. There were periodic moments of breakthrough, some small conversations with other inmates, moments of unexpected kindness, and the quiet sense that God hadn't forgot me. I started to realize that this wasn't just punishment, that it might just be an opportunity for transformation, but only if I was willing to take it. The prison years were my breaking point. A lot of fights, a lot of poor decision making, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. But the prison years were also the becoming of my entire rebuild. This episode of The Recovery Couch is brought to you by True Story Media. True Story Media is a faith-driven media company helping people share their stories. Whether you're called to write a book, start a podcast, or simply speak your truth, True Story Media can help bring your vision to life. Visit us at www.recoverycouch.com today. Just a reminder, if you haven't already joined the Recovery Couch Inner Circle on Patreon, do so now. That's where we connect in monthly Q&A sessions. We share bonus content and give you early access to behind-the-scenes stories like this one I'm sharing with you today. We've also got incredible guests that we've just had conversations with on the Recovery Couch. Michael Thompson, author of The Heart of a Warrior. Go and check that out. You'll love it. And we released an episode with Ryan Canada, executive director and lead pastor at Free Recovery Community in Denver, Colorado. Please check that out. And while you're at it, look at the conversation we had with Henry Wannery. Fantastic man, had a lot of fantastic wisdom. And I'll be a guest on his podcast, Vantage Point, coming soon. So please make sure you go and listen to those. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, it would be the easiest way to know what we got going on, and we would love for you to do that. This episode of The Recovery Couch is brought to you by Greg Swartz at RE/MAX Victory and Affiliates. Whether you're buying or selling your home, Greg brings heart, hustle, and honesty to every deal. Call Greg at 937-477-8975 today. My time in prison was full of a litany of bad choices. Selling drugs, using drugs, fighting, getting attention from gangs, getting jumped, and beaten until I was unrecognizable. In this episode, I take you through the prison years. We went through the season where I thought I was just serving time, but I was really facing myself for the first time in a long time. I shared the raw emotions of life behind bars, the moments that broke me, and the small glimpses of grace that planted seeds of transformation. Prison was more than a sentence. It was the fire that began to rebuild my soul. I want to thank you for joining me today. Join us next time as we go to episode 4, where we talk about the first time I used crystal meth. So tune in for that. Thanks again for joining us. And remember, you always have a seat right here on the Recovery Couch.